Like so many of us, Homer Henry fell in love with trains when he was just a boy back in the 1950s. He would sit on his grandmother's porch in La Follette, Tennessee, and watch the cars of the Louisville and Nashville rumble by. So it was no real surprise when Homer Henry began a career with the Santa Fe in California. He went from brakeman to engineer to manager to executive. But even as a busy executive, Homer Henry found time to pursue his love of model railroading. He became a master craftsman and modeler, and planned for the day when he would build his dream layout. Finally, and with the help of others, that dream turned real. In his Illinois home is a magnificent American Flyer S-gauge layout created for him by a company called the Model Train Works. The Great Smoky Mountain Railway rolls through the Tennessee countryside.
So I had this track plan drawn up for some time using one of the new computer track making programs that were existed in the late 80s. And I drew this up at that time and just waiting for the right combination of time and place. So by moving into this location in 1990, I started looking around and found an ad in Model Railroader about this fellow from the Model Train Works, I believe it was called. And he had an 800 number, and it's a very interesting little story because he had an 800 number and I called it. I had no idea where he was at in the country. So I was just talking to him over the phone, we talked about what I wanted to do. He said he normally built the layouts on location and moved it to where the client was. We talked for about 20 minutes about concepts, scenery, no grades, or little grades, etc. And finally, after 20 minutes of conversation, I said, so where are you located at? So I can look at transportation costs, you can come see where I'm at. And he says, well, I live in Naperville, Illinois. And it turned out he was 5 minutes from where I lived. So he came over, we hung up and he came over and we started the project in about a week after that or 2 weeks after that.
Homer and his wife also have a 10 by 40 foot HO gauge layout with incredible scenery. This too was assembled with the help of admired professionals.
It's a high degree of concentration, creativity, artistic value that goes into the contribution of making it such a fun experience.
It's interesting though when people come and look at both layouts that the American Flyer really tends to be more of an interest in all the extreme detail that's in the HO layout because of the noise it makes, the smoke of the engines, the excitement that it brings back of the Christmas mornings that we've all had during this hobby of the big trains running around in a circle. And then the serious people like to look at the HO layout, but they all sort of drift back to this one and look at the Flyer. It's very exciting, it's a lot of noise. It's hard to even talk in here when they're all running. But the HO was the epic of bringing together all the different functions of detail and craftsmanship and all that. So it's two completely separate things.
Homer Henry now manages two of his own companies, one that certifies locomotive engineers, and a company called Railtech Productions, which helps produce train scenes for television commercials and the movie industry.
Railtech Productions has offices in Chicago, Kansas City, and Beverly Hills, California. And that company works with the movie industry, not only for feature films, but also commercials, TV shows that require trains. Almost anything that has trains in it, our company's involved in getting the trains and the Hollywood production company together.
Homer Henry is a man who's been able to take a childhood love of trains and turn it into both an exciting career and a fulfilling hobby. A fortunate man who's never drifted far from those dreams on his grandmother's porch.
Talk about talent and drive. Homer Henry is also an experienced airplane pilot. Thanks for being with us. Please join us next time for more Tracks Ahead.